Hello, my dear children. Welcome to today's class. So, what are we learning today? Today, we will be learning about that how do we travel from one place to another? How are we sending different goods from one place to another? How did it all become possible from going from one place to another? And this brings us to chapter number 13, which says invention of a wheel and means of transport. So, what does invention means first of all? Invention means making something new which never existed before. So, that is invention. All right. And what does transportation or transport means? Let's see. The movement of people and goods from one place to another is called transportation. So when we go from one place to another, or we send things from one place to another, so that is called transportation. So the movement of people or goods from one place to another is called transportation. So, why do we actually go from one place to another? Why do we need to be transported? We move from one place to another because we are human beings and we cannot be sitting at one place. We need to go to meet our relatives. Our relatives need to come to us to meet us. Then we need to go to our workplace. Children go to school. Then, if people are sick, they need to go to hospital. When children go overseas, they move abroad or they move to different cities, they move to different countries for work purpose or for study, then the family members go there to meet their other family members, to meet their children. So that's why there is a need for movement, there is a need for transportation. If we need to entertain ourselves, we go to cinema halls, we go to restaurants, we go to amusement parks. So again, it needs transportation, right? And why goods need to be transported? Suppose all the cereals, the vegetables, they are being grown in some particular city, and the other city needs those vegetables or grains which can't be grown in the other city. So, all the vegetables, fruits, cereals, they are need to be transported from the place where they are grown to the place where they are being needed. Similarly, other goods are being transported from the area of manufacture to the area, to the place where they are being needed. And this transportation of people and goods can be done by road, by air, through water, correct? So now let's start reading the chapter. We all need to move from one place to another for our needs. We cannot stay in one place all the time. So we need some mode of transportation. Early man lived in jungles. So when people did not start to develop, when there was no modernization, so early man, where they used to live in jungles. They did not have proper houses. They did not have proper towns or cities or even villages. So they used to live in jungles, and in the jungles, what did they eat? They used to eat fruits and vegetables growing in wild on trees, or they hunted the animals and then cooked them and then ate it. He ate fruits and roots of the plants. He killed animals to eat. He ate raw flesh. He used stones as tools. He used to walk a lot. He used to carry his goods on his head or on his back. So, back then, when early man was there and no means of transportation was invented, how people used to travel? They used to travel by foot. They used to carry their goods on the shoulders, on their back, on their head. He used to drag weight with ropes later. So later, ropes, when ropes were being invented, they used to drag their goods with rope, as you can see in the picture. Then what happened? Fire was invented, and then early man started cooking food, animals and vegetables. Then after fire was being invented, later the very important invention took place, and that was the invention of the wheel. And by the invention of the wheel, people learned that we can carry ourselves, we can carry goods through wheels, we can build a structure over a wheel and then put things in that structure, or we can sit in that structure, and then it can be pulled by an animal, or we can also pull it and it will require less time. So wheel was a very, very important invention by the man. So the invention of the wheel was the most important invention in the history of the mankind after the invention of fire. So later, man domesticated some animals and used them as means of transportation. So earlier, when they used to carry their load themselves, then they learned that we can just train the animals, we can domesticate them, we can make them our pets, and then we can carry load through them. So like elephants or bullocks or camels, horses, they were being used for this. So animals like donkeys, camels, elephants and bullocks were used as a means of transportation. Then after the invention of the wheel, what happened? With time, man learned to make a wheel. He learned that the wheel can be very useful for him, and he used the wheel mainly for transportation. He made carts with the help of wheels. So the man learned that the wheel that has been invented, we can build a structure over it. We can build a cart over it, and that cart can be pulled by ourselves or by the animals. So he used a bullock cart, a camel cart, and horse carriages for transportation of goods and for traveling. And this was very easy and time saving invention. So it was very easy, and it started saving a lot of time. Even till many years, when kings and queens were there, till that time also the mode of traveling was through these carts, and they were pulled by animals only. Okay, so kings and queens, they used to ride on horse carts or elephant carriages, and that's how they used to travel. Carts traveled faster and carried more weight than people. A family could move together on a cart. So, large animals could pull a big cart, and the full family could travel through a cart. And a lot of goods could be carried from one place to another through these animal carts. Now, these are two carts, as you can see, carts and carriages drawn by animals were used for long distance traveling. Then people started developing, mankind started developing, people started becoming modern. more inventions and discoveries were being made, and then came different means of transportation, different modes of transportation. So there are different means of transportation now: land, water, and air transport. Earlier, only land transport was being used, but then man learned to make boats using wood and traveled in water. So, earlier, when there was only land transport, but when people had to cross the rivers, lakes, and horses or camels or elephants were unable to cross that river, then what was being invented? People started using their mind, and then they thought that how can we cross the river very efficiently without any difficulty. So they started tying wood together and they made a structure which looked like a boat, and they discovered that boat floats on water, and that's how boat was being invented. Okay, that was the first mode of water transport, a boat. These two means of transport were the major means of transport for a very long time. So road transport and water transport, it was for a very long time only these two mode of transport were there. Air transport was not being invented. Then later on, Wright brothers, they invented the air transport. So then came air transport, and now air transport is widely used. As people are traveling from one city to another city, from one country to another country, air transport is being used. Also, it is the most expensive means of transport. Now, let's study about each mode of transport one by one. Now, what is a land transport? Uh, Moving on land, on road, or on the tracks which are laid on the road is called land transport. So, moving by road or on rail tracks laid on land is the means of land transport. There are many vehicles used for transportation on land. As you can see in the picture, a bus, a tractor, a truck, a car, bicycle, scooter, animal carts, all these are land transports. So there are large vehicles like buses, trucks, trolleys, etc., and other small vehicles like bicycle, scooter, auto rickshaw, car, etc. These are the picture of the means of land transport. Then comes the rail transport. It is also a land transport, but a rail moves on a railway track. So a train which goes from one city to another city, and a train like metro train which goes inside the city only, where people go, where people travel from one place to another in their city only. So trains run on the rail tracks laid on land. Trains are used for long distance traveling. The metro train is used for local traveling. So a train looks like this and a metro train looks like this. Have you ever traveled in a metro train in your city? If not, just ask your parents to take you to a journey in your city in a metro train. Now, what are water transport? Ships, boats, steamers are used to travel and carry goods on water. And if there are more goods and they have to be transported early, so either they are being sent through air or through water. So according, if we compare with the air transport, through water transport, it costs less to transport goods from one place to another. Then comes the air transport. That's the fastest means of traveling and transport, and it is the air transport. People travel long distances by air. Aeroplanes and helicopters are used to fly from one place to another. These are the pictures of aeroplane and helicopter. So now let's find out that you have to write the names of the cities in India where the metro is used for local traveling. So one is Delhi, then there is Mumbai, there is Hyderabad. Actually, there, etc. There are around 20, approximately 20 or even more cities where metro train is used for local traveling. Now, apart from animals, the vehicles, the carts that are being pulled by the animals, other means of transport, whether it's a road transport or air transport or water transport, every means of transport needs some or the other fuel for it to work. In the similar way, animals, the living things, they need food to go from one place to another, to move from one place to another, or to grow. The vehicles need fuel to move from one place to another or for working. Okay, so petrol, diesel, CNG, electricity, coal, all these resources are being used in the vehicles for them to work. Most vehicles use petrol and diesel as a fuel, and now CNG is used as fuel. We have to take our vehicle to the petrol pumps or CNG stations to refill the fuel in our vehicle. So, we have to take our vehicles to the fuel station and get our vehicles filled with fuel so they can work and they can move. Special fuel is used for aeroplanes and helicopters, not the same fuel which are used in cars or scooters or bikes are being used in aeroplanes or helicopters. They use special fuel to work because they move in air and they require a lot of power to move through the air, so they need a special fuel. Trains use coal and electricity as fuel. Some vehicles are pulled by humans or animals. These vehicles are safer, cleaner for the environment. So there is no pollution when the vehicles are being pulled by the animals or by the humans. Like auto rickshaw is pulled by a human. It is being driven by human, and a rickshaw which requires paddling, that is also being pulled by humans. So these kind of vehicles, they do not emit any harmful gases and they are very safe for the environment, and that's why they are the cleaner mode of transportation. So see, this is a picture of a petrol pump and CNG station, and then an auto rickshaw. This is a rickshaw which is being pulled by a human, or it can be attached to some animal also, and there is no fuel required for hand drawn vehicles. These are the terms that we have learned today. Transportation, that is movement of people and goods. Invention, making something for the first time. Fuel, energy used for movement, that is called fuel. Also remember that earlier there were no means of transport. Early man used to walk. Domesticated animals were used as means of transport and later by early man. Now we use different means of transportation such as roads, railways, waterways and airways. Fuel is required to move any object. The vehicles use petrol, diesel, CNG, coal, electricity, etc. as fuel. These are the exercises that we are going to do right now, and see what have we learned in today's lesson. You have to write the name of any three vehicles belonging to the following means of transport. So land, you can write car, bike, scooter, rickshaw, auto rickshaw, bullock cart, horse cart. So there are like plenty of them. Air transport, aeroplane, helicopter, rocket. It carries astronauts from Earth to space. Water transport, ship, cruise, boat, steamer, submarine, railways, train, metro, bullet train. That bullet train is the super fast train. Uh, a new bullet train has been introduced called Vande Bharat, and that is like a super fast train. Animal drawn vehicles, camel cart, bullock cart, cart, horse carriages. Now you have to fill in the blanks. There are three means of transport. Traveling by road is called land transport. Traveling on water is called water transport. Traveling by air is called air transport. Train belongs to land mode of transport. Now you have to take the correct statements and cross out the wrong one. We can stay in one place forever, wrong. We need means of transport to move people and goods from one place to another, that's correct. The invention of the wheel made man invent vehicles, that's correct. The only use of roadways for long distance travel, we only use roadways for long distance traveling, that's false. Airways are the cheapest means of transport, that's false. We use petrol, diesel, CNG, etc. as fuel for vehicles, that's correct. Now you have to answer the following questions in your notebook yourself and see what have you learned. But we can discuss it over here in short. What do you mean by means of transport? Means of transport are the vehicles which helps in the transportation of people and goods. Why do we need to travel? We need to travel to meet people, to go to our workplace, to hospitals, to school, and we need to travel to fulfill our needs. Which means of transport costs the most? Airways. Which means of transport is the cheapest way of traveling? Road transport is the cheapest means of traveling. Which modes of traveling are good for the environment and cost less? The transport which are being drawn by humans and animals. Now, these are some fun based questions that you have to do yourself with your family, with your friends, and have fun with the lesson. What you can do is you can make a project on cardboard using toys to show how man started using various means of transport. Then there is a piece of information given over here which says that Indian railways are one of the most used modes of transport. So people travel through trains mostly in India. Okay, and for long distance also people travel through trains, and among these trains are the luxury trains also. So you have to find out the names of the few luxury trains in India which offer a lot of luxury and facilities. I know one which is running in Rajasthan, in Jaipur. That is one of the most luxurious train in India. So please surf internet, take help of your parents and teachers and see what luxury trains are running in India. Okay, so you have to make a list of all those luxury trains, and then what you have to do is you have to find the names of some new trains that are being introduced in Indian Railway in recent years. So, like I told you, there is a train called Vande Bharat, which has been introduced recently. It is one of the fastest train in India, and that's a bullet train. So similarly, you have to find out the names of other trains as well that have been introduced, and also find out whether there is any double decker train in India or not. What is double decker train? Which has two stories. People can sit at the bottom also, and above also there is a train where people can sit. So that's a double decker train. Just as you have to surf internet and see whether India has a double decker train or not. Then trains, how do trains move? They usually use coal, diesel and electricity as their fuel. So according to you, what do you think? Which fuel is the best and why? So just think about which fuel does not harm our nature, our economy, our environment that much. According to that, please frame your answer. And if you think that electricity is the most efficient fuel, why do you think electricity is the most efficient fuel for trains to use? All right, so that's all for today in this lesson. I hope you have learned a lot about transportation. How do people transport from one place to another and the goods, and how from early man till now development in transportation has come. That's all for today. Keep learning, keep shining. Bye bye.